Hi, Nancy.
Hello. Annmarie, you look beautiful.
Oh, thank you. So do you. It's so nice to see you.
It's good to see you too. You know what I'm realizing? I want to I thought it was plugged in. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you sound great.
Okay.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes. Okay. Perfect. Well, it is so fun to see you. And I have been wanting to do this for a long time. And so today is finally the day that we get to visit. But you have been instrumental in my journey for this podcast and developing this podcast. And so I've been appreciative to you. And as a matter of fact, you even helped me last week with a technical thing. So, of course, I'm appreciative for that. But I want people, my followers, to know more about you and your background and what you offer. And so, if you could start off by telling us a little about yourself.
Well, sure. My name is Annmarie, and I offer web design and marketing services, mostly to small businesses. And it was so fun to get to work with you, Nancy, on putting your website together, because what I love to do is really help people in the beginning of small businesses get started. And that includes like the website and the strategy side of it. But getting to see people like following their dreams is one of my favorite things that I get to do about my business. So it is so much fun to be able to come do this, a while after you've gotten into it. And now like you're the one managing your own website and getting everything like up there. It's so fun to like get to see you like own that and see you grow, and I get to see the other businesses that I work for grow too. So that's what I love doing, and I've been doing it for the past, well, professionally, just really the past about 3 years or so. Though I went to school, I have a bachelor's in marketing. So that's where it really stemmed from. Was I went to school for marketing, and then I added on a minor in small business management and entrepreneurship. And after that, I was like, I'm never starting my own business because this is too much work. Like I just knew it's like, no, I'm not going to do it. But then fast forward to 2 kids. I'm married to my husband. We live here in Washington State, and we have 2 young kids later. And I didn't want to go back into the workforce to be away from my kids. I wanted to figure out how to be able to stay home with them, but maybe still be able to pursue something for me and follow my passion and things like that too. So I was like, how can I fit that in? So that was kind of the start of my first business, which was not this. I actually was professional organizer for about a year. And
I did not realize that. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So I have always loved organizing, and that was actually something I had always wanted to do and never thought I could do it because it was hard to get hired as a professional organizer. A lot of organizers have their own businesses. So I was like, well, now if I have to start my own business to be a professional organizer, I'm out. I'm not doing it. Then I found a mentor who was this incredible person, and I started doing that, and I did it for about a year. And I realized I really enjoy organizing, and I really enjoy helping people get organized. It's really about the journey of helping people get organized. And for me, I kind of always struggled with, I'm a very like stuff out visual person. And so I'd always kind of struggled with being a very organized person. So to help to be able to kind of overcome that and then help people do it felt really good. But it was kind of short-lived, and it was, it's a hard profession. You have to be out at other people's houses all the time. And it started to interfere with, being able to be home with the kids like I wanted to do it. And so I kind of stopped working for a little bit, and my brother-in-law asked me to come back to help his small business with marketing. And so I started him, and through that, I met some people at the Small Business Development Center, and they were like, you should really start your own business. And so that is where the actual marketing and web design business spun out of that.
Oh my gosh, that's fascinating. So that's not where you even started. I mean, you have the background in it, but that wasn't like your target in doing that. But
it wasn't. So, and again, I've got this degree and I know what I'm doing, but I actually hadn't really worked in marketing until I started my own business. I worked in human resources when I graduated from college. So I hadn't had like a marketing job, and to get your foot in the door, a lot of it was sales. And I'm not a salesperson. I can sell, but it is not my strength. I don't really enjoy it. And my dad was a professional salesman his entire life. So he was just incredible. And I saw him, but I also like saw what he did and how hard he worked. And I was like, I'm too introverted for this. It kills me to do this. So I was like, how can I use the knowledge that I know to help these small businesses start up? Because I do enjoy marketing. And the best thing about marketing is that it's really getting to know people. And so even though I'm an introvert, I still love getting to know people and getting to work with people. So being able to help small businesses kind of tap into their market and tap into the people is something I've really enjoyed doing.
So then how long have you been doing this? Has it been over 3 years?
So it's been about 3 years that I've been doing this as my, I would say full-time business, but it's really my full-time, but it's a part-time business because my kids are still elementary school age and stuff too. So we've got them here, but it's been about 3 years of doing the marketing and web design. And I've been designing websites since I was in middle school. It's always something I just loved doing. I loved computers. I was building them with HTML and that's all we did, so I've had to learn a lot. I've continued to learn like the CSS coding and things like that. And, I love building in WordPress. That's where I'm currently working only in WordPress, though I've used a million other builders. So I just love learning it and growing it. But the thing about websites is, a lot of people see a website as a single abstract piece, but as there's traffic that goes to it, and there's email marketing that goes along with it, and there's strategy that goes along with it. And so if you just build it as kind of a single entity, it can serve you, but it doesn't serve you as well as it can if you incorporate all these other pieces. So I have seen people build websites and nothing's come from it because they just built a website and they were following what they thought they should follow. They're following kind of the advice that you're given, like first thing, go get a website. And I don't always think that's the case. I think a lot of time we need to sit down and do a little bit more planning and strategy. I'm big into planning. And so I saw people building websites and I saw people spending money, and then they'd say, okay, well, where's my business? And your business is not your website. And I think that's the biggest thing that I like to encourage people, like, don't be discouraged because you have to put the other pieces in place. A website alone is just not enough. And so that was the other thing that I wanted to do, was help people think, well, I built this website, my business didn't work. I can't do maybe this thing it's my passion that I've wanted to pursue. Maybe it's only a side hustle. Maybe it's not I shouldn't say only a side hustle because I don't want to diminish a side hustle at all. So it might be a side hustle versus your full-time business. And so they're afraid to invest more in it. But the thing is, if you're able to kind of build the business and not just the website, you can see, you're able to follow that passion and see it come to fruition, which is amazing for that person. It's amazing for me to get to see them do it. But if you just build the website and hope it'll come, I've seen a lot of people disheartened and think maybe their idea wasn't that great or their business didn't work. But that's not the case. It's just more to it than that.
Mm-hmm. You helped me in the very beginning, and you probably do this with everybody, but really thinking about the nuts and bolts of the website and what I wanted to get out of it. And you have been very strategic in your thinking and encouraging me to think strategically and, it's sometimes out of the box. And I appreciate you for that, because the marketing and building the website really should go hand in hand. And that is the way it is for you. Your mind is, you're an excellent communicator, but your mind is able to think overall of the brand and the website. And I know you've encouraged me in some things that I think I'll be working with you this summer on building a little bit, but I can see why it really helps people to work with you. And you've done a lot of hand holding. I was very interested in the WordPress, and I thought I'd like for you to share with people, when I say hand holding, kind of the services that you offer, because I'm not sure if it's exactly, what I asked you to do as far as, tutorials and all of that. Yeah. But if you could kind of share what you offer to clients, that would be great.
Absolutely. Well, and Nancy, I actually love to do a lot of the hand holding because my goal when I work with people is not that, of course, I want you to continue to work with me, but I don't want you to have to need me for everything. I want you to become self-sufficient because a lot of us are, small business owners, solopreneurs, or people with small teams. And so it's maybe not in the budget to hire someone for every little piece of it. So what I do is I work with people to design the whole website, and that includes the strategy. It includes, hooking an email marketing service to it. But it's more than that because we go through it, we meet, we say, what do you need out of this? What's the goal? Who's your audience? Let's think about the brand. And then we build a website based on that. And then furthermore, I don't just say, okay, here's your website, off you go. I do tutorials on here's how you can maintain your website, update your website. And so that all kind of comes in one whole website package. So if you're looking for an entire website, you get all of that in one. But I also do, for my continuing clients, I do hop on, a Zoom call and let's screen share and let me show you how to do it. Or let's, kind of hash this out together and see what's working and what isn't, because websites continue to evolve as well. I mean, especially in this current time, it is constantly changing. And so not that you have to be changing your brand all these times, but you want to keep up with the latest technology and things like that. Or as someone makes an update to the plugin that you're using and you've got to make some changes on the website, right? So I'm available to people, for ongoing maintenance, but I really enjoy teaching people how to do that. And that also includes email marketing services. So if people want to build their website and then start growing their email list, some of what we can do is I can help you get that set up. And then we can have, strategy. And we typically do like an hour-long strategy call where we say, okay, like, what's your lead magnet going to be, which would be, that's like those opt-in freebie sort of things. So of course you can ask someone to sign up for your email list without offering anything, but maybe it's more enticing if we offer, some people, it might be a discount code or some PDF download or something like that. So I can help you come up with that, and we create that whole opt-in so that you can get people to grow on your email list. And then we can talk about, well, how often should you email people and what should you say to them and things like that. So those are really kind of the two things that I do hand in hand. And I have been working with clients kind of quarterly on building out a marketing strategy for each quarter. At this time, I'm not currently offering it one-to-one, but of course, maybe again in the future I will. So that would be, kind of mapping out your overall strategy, which includes your website and the email and maybe social media. And, it's not me doing all the work for you, but it's us together planning, like, where do you want your business to go? How do you want it to grow? Like, what other things can you incorporate? Like, do you want to get out and do conventions or things like that too? So that's another part of what I do. But a lot of that, works into the website when we start there too. So typically we kind of start from the website marketing strategy and then build from there.
Okay. So I'm wondering if you have a couple of tips for people that might kind of help them either regarding their website or in marketing. People who are just starting out and maybe have a business idea. So if you could maybe share that, because I know you've got vast knowledge. You probably have a lot of tips, but maybe
it's hard to just pick one.
I know. Well, maybe your top one or two.
So first thing I would say is I actually highly recommend seeking out those resources such as the Small Business Development Center in your state, or, look into SCORE. We have some other programs that I've taken them myself, and some of them you can do at a community college, they're paid, but it's really mapping out like your business plan. No one wants to sit down and write a business plan anymore, I tell you, because they feel like, oh, it's so much work. And, so-and-so said they started their, Jeff Bezos started Amazon without a business plan or something like that, and I so believe in, the reason I also believe in, mapping that out is because you get to really sit down and you get to crunch those numbers, and you don't get to the end of the year after starting your business and realize the numbers didn't add up. You figure that out beforehand. And so I hate to see people just start and run and go, which that's great. I think, and another good tip I got was start before you're ready. And me as someone who's a planner is like, no, 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 we have to have everything in place. And I'm not sure if I didn't receive that advice multiple times that I would have actually started, because I would have been trying to be ready. And the truth is you're never going to be ready and you're never going to have anything in place. So you don't have to you don't have to wait until you feel ready. Though I would say go back to that beginning and really, however you do it, figure out a way, whether it's investing your, time as your resource or your money as your resource, to figuring out what is this goal of my business? What am I trying to build here? What financially would this look like for even just a year? Let's map out this cash flow and then see, is this feasible? And when push comes to shove and I see all the work I have to do here, am I willing to do it? Do I want to do it? And not get to the end of the first year and think, oh man, I just, oops, I lost a bunch of money on that, which that's okay too. I mean, this is how we learn, but it can be disheartening. And especially if you're pursuing your passion and you come to the end of the first year and you're like, whoa, I worked this hard for this much. And I don't even know what to do. And then you kind of feel, you have feelings about your passion. Like you're like, okay, well, I can't do it as a business, or this just isn't right for me. And you start to lose your passion for things. And it's because you didn't have kind of the foundations in place. And I hate for that to happen to people, because I think you can truly pursue your passion and you can figure out how to make it work for you, but it might take some pivoting and tweaking, and you might have to look at it in a little, like you said, out of the box way.
Yeah. Yes. I'm glad that you mentioned that. I was just thinking that, okay, hang on one second. Now I've lost it. Oh, shoot. Okay. Well, I might ask about how, because I found you online and we were able to connect, and just the whole being remote, you don't have to be in Tulsa. I don't have to be, where you are. But I'm just, if you could kind of talk about how people can connect with you and then what you offer on social media, because I follow you and I want people to connect with you because you offer a lot of great advice and then some different tips. And so if you could kind of share where people can find you and just how people can connect with you remotely.
Thank you. Yeah, well, I do have kind of a blog of resources that I try to, I've walked you through things like how to set up an email marketing platform and get your email list started and things like that. Lots of website tips you can find all on my blog, and that's at AnnmarieGustafson.com. And then you can also find me on Instagram, which is where Nancy found me, at Annmarie.Gustafson. So I'll
provide that. I'll provide that on my website.
I know. Maybe that was another tip. Don't use your name. Don't use your name as your business if it's really hard to spell.
No, you're fine.
But so, and then from my blog, it'll also link you over to my YouTube channel, which has some instructional videos on, things like Canva, which is a graphic design tool, which I know you've used some, Nancy. So I've got Canva and MailerLite for email marketing and things like that. So hopefully I'll, continue to add more in the future. But if people have questions, I always encourage them to email me, because I love to make the content that is most helpful for people. So, if someone wants me to walk them through something, I'm more than happy to do it.
Yeah. I can testify firsthand that that's right. I remembered what I was going to say too. The SCORE resource is invaluable. And so is that we do have a small business development center here in Oklahoma, here specifically in Tulsa. And I've had people come and speak to my class from the Small Business Development Center. And so anyway, they are an outstanding resource.
They are. I wouldn't have had my business like it is now if it wasn't for the Small Business Development Center. And, I've done trainings through SCORE as well, but my advisor at the Small Business Development Center here is amazing. And we're able to meet remotely. I'm sure it's different state to state and things like that, but I've always been able to do it remote as well. So I pretty much do my entire job, from my little office here at home.
That's awesome. Yeah. So I have something on my website right now where I talk about building community and tips on building community, and you're in my community and I want you to be in other people's community. So you guys please reach out to Annmarie and start following her, and you can see what services she offers. It's been awesome to work with you, and you are a wealth of knowledge, always a breath of fresh air, always supportive. And even when time lapses, because I'm not, I don't need you, I feel like, pretty soon I'm going to be looking at things to update this summer and for getting ready for season 4. So you've been with me since the very beginning.
Yes.
So anyway, yeah, that's awesome.
I love to see you growing and going. It's amazing. So
thank you.
Congratulations to you.
Thanks. And you too. You've
Thank
been
you.
growing. I mean,
yes, I have.
Yeah. I kind of caught you, I guess, midway. You had been going for quite a while. And then, it was probably, I guess, a year and a half ago, probably.
Right. Yep. Yeah. I think that, cause it was around, it was sometime during 2020.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
You have the best memory, because I'll tell you, that's when I felt like when things were kind of closed, that I had, quarantine, unfortunately, but that allowed me the time to focus on getting things done. And I had probably reached out to you prior to that, and, just we plugged away and got it going, because it was, I think my first post was around Thanksgiving of 2020.
You're right. It was. I do remember that. And so, I was about halfway through. And so it's been fun to get to see, the businesses that I've worked with over the years. Also, some have kind of stayed, they've kept it kind of the same, and some have dramatically changed. And so it's fun to get to follow along with all of that. So the more I stay in business, the more I get to see that too.
And I can tell that you love that. And that's why I thought it was important for me to talk to you, because I know that you're passionate about what you're doing in your business and helping others and educating others and supporting others. And so anyway, and I'm glad.
And I love, I love you building your community, because especially as, small business owners, I think, and just people in general, right? We're always looking for a community to find like-minded people who are supportive and encouraging. And I know that's what your community is too. So it's wonderful to be able to have gotten to know you through this and, be a part of it.
Yeah. Well, good. Well, thank you. So I'm going to wrap up, because I'm going to look and see, well, actually, I maybe can ask one more question. I wonder, this is kind of interesting to me and sometimes to other people, but the best business advice that you've received, and maybe, and how what it was, and maybe how it helped you.
It's a great question. So I've received a lot of good advice, but I do think the one that I've received, I think I received it in about 2019, and it was stop worrying about overcoming your weaknesses and lean into your strengths. So work more on your strengths and stop worrying about what you're not great at. And I have looked at things differently ever since then. So one of the books I read was Now Discover Your Strengths by Marcus Buckingham. And I think it's The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. And he talks about working in your zone of genius. And that helped me a lot in business, because, let's use like writing, for example. Let's say you're not a very good writer. And you're like, that's not really my strengths, but I need to do maybe some more for my business. So I'll work on it. And so you work on it and you get better and better, but it's still maybe mediocre, rather than someone who is gifted in writing and can write it really well and faster. Well, instead of trying to work, not that I don't think we should spend some time overcoming our weaknesses, of course, like I think I'm always learning and growing, but when we spend time in our strengths, we're able to spend more time doing things really well. And when we're doing those well and it's fun, we get into that flow state and we're able to make a bigger impact, because it comes easier and we're not wasting time and we're enjoying it. So that's where I think you really find like that passion and purpose. If, we're speaking of it in terms of your show, Nancy, because you can say like, what am I really good at? And what do I really enjoy doing? And instead of trying to say like, well, I'm not very good at this, I should work on it and I should be better, but you're not going to make a big difference in the world in that area, you'll improve your own skill. But when you can really spend all the time, instead of spending the time trying to get better and just being okay at it, not really enjoying it because it's a struggle, you can lean into doing the things that you do really well, and you can help other people and you can make a bigger impact that way. And it feels good and it feels easy. So you can spend more time in that state and, either let some of the other stuff go or hire someone else to help you with those things.
Well, it's funny that you say that, because I had wanted to do my website myself. Not that I'm a huge control freak, but I just thought I want to learn how to do it. So then I'll know how to make the updates, how to post, how to do all of that. And then after we connected and visited, that designing a website and doing that is not my strength. That is yours. That is definitely yours. And so then once I release that and let you do your thing, I mean, you know, we talked about everything, but then you providing the tutorials on how to make those post updates and, how you don't just do it and then good luck. And so anyway, but you're right. I mean, it is important to focus on what you're most interested in. And so that allowed me and freed me up to focus in other areas that I needed to focus my business on, and growing.
Yeah. And then you were able to build the strength enough, build the weakness enough to be able to do the technical part of adding the posts and things like that. But, who knows, your website might not be up if you're still trying to design it.
It wouldn't be, Annmarie.
I have to tell you, that happens to people all the time. And I mean, I'm the same way with other things. Like if you just let go and let someone else do the part that they're good at, it's allowing other people to do the part that they're good at. And you get to go do the part that you're good at. And then you can, eventually get the skills you need to maintain it, but you don't ever have to learn. Now you don't have to go say, well, now I'm a website designer because I can build a website.
Yes. So I have shared this in the past, but I signed up for my website name or domain name a year and a half before we connected, thinking that I would get going on it. And it took me that long to finally, figure out I couldn't and finally connect with you. And then it took me literally over a year, or a year and a half. And it took you a few weeks. So, so yeah, I'm glad that you mentioned that. That's big. I might ask about your workflow and when you work the best, whether it's, the morning or the evening, or maybe it's different times, because I know you're juggling a couple of different things, work and home life. So I thought I'd find out about that.
Yeah. Well, my kids, now that they're both in school full time, I, can pretty much get a decent amount of work done until they get home. That being said, I am a night owl. I am not a morning person. So I do, a lot of emails during the day because that's when other people are around. So I do a lot of kind of the admin work during the day. But if I'm actually designing websites, if I'm working with people, I have to work with them during somewhat normal hours. And I'm West Coast time, so I'm usually behind everybody. But when I'm actually building and designing, it's after everyone goes to bed. My husband goes to bed early, the kids go to bed fairly early, and I'm, in the evening doing my own thing and getting into my groove. So I'm in flow state when I'm alone in my office in the evening. And then the admin stuff is kind of during the day.
Okay.
But it's definitely broken up.
Yeah. And I break mine up too, but I'm an early bird. I'd rather wake up at 5 a.m. and get going, because I feel like that's when my mind is fresh and I can really, it's quiet. The house is quiet. And so I can really get going. So I'm always curious about, when people work well and, what helps them. So anyway.
Yeah. Well, if you're familiar with the 4 types of animals that are your chronotypes, I am the wolf. So there's a wolf, a lion, a bear, and a dolphin. And I'm the wolf. So it'll tell you your most productive time. I think I'm good at like 12 to 2. And then from 2, it'll tell you when you're most creative and things like that. There's even an app for it, which I don't have, but I've read the book. And I'm trying to remember now. Of course I can't think of
that's okay. Chronotypes.
Yeah, your chronotypes. And so there's 4 different types: a bear, a lion, a wolf, and a dolphin. And so I'm like definitely fall into the latter category. If I wake up in the morning, I'm definitely not like sharp as a tack.
Yeah.
But get me at night and I'm on fire.
Wow. Okay. I love it. I'm going to check into that. I've written some books down that you've mentioned.
Yeah.
I've got my notes.
I love
going.
reading, you know, always growing by reading. So
yeah. And same. Well, I wrap up with the question, what are you most passionate about? So I will let you answer that and then we'll wrap up.
Well, of course, I'm very passionate about helping people and helping people follow their passion, because my goal is, you know, and I lost my mom about 10 years ago now, but I was young. I was about 26 when she passed away, and it was hard for me. But I lost her to cancer. But the thing that I really learned from that is I wanted to live, never thinking, I wish I would have. I've always wanted to. So if you're thinking, I've always wanted to, it's the time to do it.
Annmarie, I have goosebumps.
Okay. I gave myself goosebumps.
Oh, you do? That's
how passionate I am about it.
I love it. That's some of the best advice that I have ever heard. So, and I hope that's through this podcast, I'm hoping to encourage that through, you know, for people. And so anyway, but thanks to you for sharing that, because it's important. That's really important to remember. So yeah, that's a great way to wrap up. Well, thank you for your time today. I appreciate it. And we'll be in contact. You know, we will, Annmarie.
Absolutely.
Anyway, well, thanks.
Look forward to it.
Yes.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
All right.
Okay.
Bye.
See ya.